Good morning, Breakfast Club family. This is Mark Stevens with your host, Joe Shoup. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. Um, the new people, you're welcome. Still want to encourage you to, when you come to the Breakfast Club, bring some of your other people so they can learn the things that we're teaching, that we all are sharing to make us all better. And with that being said, good morning, Joe. How are you?
Good morning, Mark. I am fantastic and amazing.
Well, let's go to phenomenal. I will say this. I talked with Cecil Piper. He's not going to be able to be with us this morning, so I guess we can move. We can just pick up where we left off last week and kind of expand on some things and see if we can help a few people. What do you think about that?
Yep, it's great. We'll catch up with Cecil next week. I know he had a prior commitment, so sorry to hear that, but we'll be good. Cecil Piper, by the way, if he is with us next week, we also have Bob Biss going to be with us in a couple of weeks, so prepare for that one. That's a really special call we're going to have, and actually I'm going to meet him here in Arizona shortly. So I'm excited about that, and we have work in the works of a really special guest coming up in about 3-4 weeks. So we'll make that announcement as we get closer. Oh, look, I want to ask a question. Let's go into the chat here. And first of all, welcome everyone. And let me make this comment here and give you some instructions. When you registered for the Breakfast Club at any time, it could have been last week, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, when you said, okay, I'm going to register, that puts you in a registry. So you should be getting an email an hour before, 15 minutes before, and I have the ability to send it out now, which I'm going to do. But hundreds of people get that notice. Now, we all notice that a lot of them go to the replay, and don't forget the replay is about 15 minutes after we are finished here. You get another notice that tells you here's the replay button. If you somehow don't get that or lose that, you just have to go to youtube.com, go in the search area of YouTube, search out me, Joe Shoup, and you will see a picture of me on a bicycle in front of the Ford Museum in Michigan. And you can click that on and then go to videos, and you will see today's broadcast. In fact, you'll see all the broadcasts on there. However, every week you will get this notice. You register once and you'll always be in the loop to get. And also I send out a message, from my private email, just to give you a topic. Most of you, if you're on that list, you got that email today. So if you want out of the system, then when you get the notice from the platform, which is Webinar Jam, that's where you have to get out of, and then also send an email on my regular one, being taken out of both spots. So hopefully, you stay with this, because there's a lot to learn here. We're teaching not only our downlines, but our uplines. Mark and I talk about that at times. We watch our language appear in other trainings, and people understanding, exactly what should happen here with your business. So I'm going to ask you a question. Let me ask this question. I'll give you time to put it in the chat box. Do you think that there is a problem with people in the network marketing, home business arena with regards to compensation? In other words, do you think most people are getting paid or earning the money that they want to earn? And if the answer is no, you don't think that's true, what percentage of people do you think are not getting paid the money that they want to be paid? So let's wait a few minutes, Mark, and get some answers in here, because I have something to say about that. A couple of things, actually, and I want to bring that to your attention before we get into what we wanted to talk about today, which is language and communication. If you notice on the email that I sent out, if you're on that notification list, you notice that new template shows the communication class. I got a call yesterday from a very educated person who has taken the class. In fact, the testimonial that he gave last year was the best I ever had. This is a seasoned veteran who makes money in the industry. And he's part of a very powerful team here in Karatbars. And I think you remember, Mark, the comment that he sent. I asked people after they take the class to give us a little testimonial. What did you learn? What would you, how will you apply this, and so on. And so his testimonial was extremely powerful because he's been in the industry probably 20, 30 years and has gone to all kinds of classes everywhere from the top people in the industry. And the compliments that he gave for that class was, I think what a lot of people experience, but he expressed it and said, this is absolutely, not only will it help me in my business, this is the best of the best to learn what it is that I need to do to be successful. The communication, the questions, the answers to questions that arise. And that's what you get in that class. You get philosophy, you get your stance, you get education on what it takes to learn phone skills. You get the 5 steps to every single conversation you have. You learn steps so you know where you are. You learn how to dismiss people properly. You learn that it's not bad to find that. Most of the people are going to be either dismiss you, but why not dismiss them first when you recognize they are not the candidate you were looking for? But do it politely, do it nice. Nothing to be angry about or disappointed or rejected about. It's just that it's your search, but you have to know to be comfortable making phone calls, which is what we have to do. We have to connect with people and invite them. We'll get into that in a minute. But you have to know how to dismiss people properly and feel good about it, that, hey, I let them go. It wasn't the candidate I was looking for. I'll put them in my autoresponder, my contact manager. I'll drip on them some letters for a while. Maybe they'll show up later, because no really means no for now. So this is the kind of things you learn in the class. And I guarantee you, if there's people on this call here that have been through the class, make some comments up here. You know what? If we don't help people, if we don't teach them what it is, the things you see up here, 97% of the people not making the money, how in the world are we going to be able to, help people move forward? How are you going to duplicate on your team? How are you going to grow? Mark, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Somebody sent me a message. I want to make sure that it was somebody who's not telling me I got a problem with my microphone. I see. I see who it is. Okay, no, it's not. It's not. It's okay.
Okay.
This is a person's registering for the class, and they're emailing me. Probably forgot about the Breakfast Club, and they want to schedule themselves today for the class. And so anyway, this person that called me, guess what? This is a person who was through the class, who gave the greatest testimonial I have ever had, and said, Joe, how can I take the class again? I want a refresher. I need to do that again. Now, this is a fellow making money, but he wants to do it again. I'm telling my people, go and take this class again. I don't care if you were in it before. We reduced that price for a crazy number for the summer. So I'm not going to get into all that now and try to sell that program. I'm telling you that something needs to be done with, if this is true, what people are putting up here. Somebody said something about an echo, really bad echo. Do you hear an echo, Mark? I don't.
No, you're not echoing. I saw that, but you're not echoing.
Yeah, they might probably have to. I don't hear an echo. Okay, thanks. Here's Gunther. Here we go. I think the majority does not get paid what they are looking for various reasons. Yes, there are various reasons. Only 2 people answer that? Come on. Do you think people are, come on, put some other answers, some other people to let us know what you really think. It's 2 people answered that question. Do you really think people are making that money? All right, well, let me get to the point here. No, thanks, Steph. Appreciate that. But I think the answer is going to be no from everybody. I just wanted everybody to see it. Communicate with each other here. You can see this stuff. I mean, communicate. Tell what your thinking is. And then, by the way, that's the name of the class. Terminology, perception, it has to make sense. It's not about the scripts and so on, which you get anyway. You learn how to do it properly. It's about thinking. Learning how to think during that conversation and going in the right direction. All right. This is about change. Here's Harry. I completed CLEAS last week and absolutely love the value and information. The knowledge that you give, Joe, is tremendous. Yeah. Not getting paid, my fault. Yeah, maybe so, Marianne, and partially. Well, that's very good that you took responsibility for that. But there's also other problems. It's not just you. It's not the company, I can tell you that right now. It has nothing to do with any of the companies you're with. All right, look. Yeah, all right. Let me say this to you. I saw this quote the other day, and I won't. If you want to type in who you think it is, I'm going to say it right afterwards anyway. Here's this person who says, "We cannot change the problem that we have with the same mindset that has caused them. Our mindset has to undergo a great transformation." Albert Einstein. Right? We cannot change the problem that we have with the same mindset that has caused it. Our mindset has to undergo a great transformation. Albert Einstein. Now think about that for a minute, and when you go back to the replay, write that down and put that in front of you. Start understanding that for things to change, somebody put up. You have to change. You've got to change your thinking here. If what has happened over the years hasn't worked, it's time to change. It really is time to change. We are getting in now to the best recruiting months of the year coming up. The end of August, September, and October. Greatest recruiting months. Then we get into January. It starts up in February and January, February. So make a commitment to change. And what change I'm talking about? Language, your knowledge of how to communicate with people, how to do a real director's call, meaning a three-way call when you take somebody there. Learn how to introduce people. Learn how to be quiet during that. Learn how to be a director so you can help. And I don't mean director title. I mean someone who directs people to registration. Here's another quote. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. The only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead, M-E-A-D. Shane Rudman used to say that all the time, and I never knew where it came from. And I stumbled across this the other day, Mark. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. That's what we're trying to do here, is help you change. So we can change. I'm not talking about the entire world, which is wonderful. People want to do that. But change the world of networking here. Because if you follow what we're trying to teach you, what we are teaching you, things can change dramatically.
Well, you know, now, John, I always say, you know, without change, there could be no progress.
Yep.
And as you said, it's about thinking. So before you go into that, let me ask a question for everybody to think about, because you're going to get some answers in here. The question is this: if what you thought you knew were true and you found out it was not, when would you want to know? Let me say it again. If what you thought you knew were true turned out not to be, when would you want to know? Think about that.
I'm going to answer it right now, yesterday.
Yes. And it takes change and it takes thinking, because again, terminology and perception, it has to make sense. And we have to understand that the terminology that we use gives the other person on the other side a perception of whatever it is. And if they get the wrong perception, you lost before you got started.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, well, let's just talk about the change. What is it that has to change? My opinion is your dialogue, the direction you're going, your plan when you talk to someone. So let's just take a look at the ways you can talk to people. You can find somebody live, meaning at a supermarket or whatever. What do you do when you find those people? What do you do if you're sitting in a restaurant and the waiter has some interest? How do you handle him? How do you handle the person who talks to you at the register, or somebody you bump into outside of the supermarket? I mean, we all have come across that. Most people either run away or say too much. So there's ways to do that. There's simple things to do, but most people think they have to tell about their business, tell them what it is, start talking about gold or whatever their product is, and they never get any further communication with that person, never hear from them again. And I know there's plenty of people that'll tell you the reason you don't hear from them again is something you did wrong. It's true. It's your dialogue. It's your plan. So here's what you should do. Write down, what would I say if I bumped into somebody outside the supermarket or store or in my travels? What would I do? How would I handle it? Would I start telling them about carrot bars and gold and the world's collapsing? You know, financial system in America is not going to last. I mean, is that what you do? Same thing with the supermarket person. I sometimes, Mark, I pretend I'm paying them. I hand them my gold, my gram of gold. And they look at it, they're ready to swipe it, and then they go, wait, what is this? So I just create that curiosity, and then they go, oh, let me see. Oh, did I give you that? All right.
That's cool, Joe, because that reminds me of when I'm feeling a certain way on a day, that I'll go to the bank and I'll put a Carrot Bar card as well as the new $100 bill on the desk, and then I'll just look at the person sitting behind the desk. And, you know, way back in the day, there was a saying, the first one talks loses.
Yep.
So I don't say anything, and they look at me, and then they'll say something. And then I'll say, what is that? And I'm pointing to the $100 bill. And they say, that's money. I said, no, that's not money. I said, then I point to the Carrot Bar card, and I say, that's money. And then they'll pick it up. That really starts the conversation.
Yeah. So these are lead-in things. How do you do that? Do you want to talk to that person? I mean, sometimes I see how outgoing they are, and I want to grab their attention. And like I said, I'll just put the card down and look. Does it mean you're going to recruit these people? No, but you know what? You can just start that conversation, and now the question is, what do you do in that conversation when they say, well, what is this? Now, you could really get caught up in a bad situation if you start explaining, this company and the world is changing and this company is done. You can't do that. You don't have time to do it. You need to get their undivided attention to have a conversation and connect. So that's not the time to do it. That's grabbing look, what motivates people to action is friendship, curiosity, need, and greed. That's it. So we work on curiosity in this industry most of the time, sometimes friendship, but lots of curiosity. So that's all you do. Create the curiosity. Well, what is that? Oh, gosh, did I give you? Oh, okay. Well, actually, I work with a company, that, is expanding in this area, and we really are looking for some good people. So, well, let me ask you, who do you know might be interested in a career change for the right money? Kind of charge in this area. That's one of the things I lead with. I don't ask them. I don't tell them to call me. I don't tell them, give me your email address unless they respond to that properly. Who do you know that would be interested in a career change for the right money? And they'll say, I don't know. I say, yeah, I'm in charge of expansion in this area. We're coming to this area, but the company is under a major expansion, looking for people who are honest, ambitious, and work well with others. So who do you know that might be interested in a career change for the right money? I don't. Now, at that point, what would you do? How would you handle that? That's all you want to say. I mean, you don't have time to do anything else. You don't have their undivided attention. You want them to see it properly. I haven't said anything except so these are the steps. The company is under a major expansion, right? We're looking for people who are honest, ambitious, and work well with others. Who do you know that would be interested in a career change for the right money? There's the 3 things you need to do when you're out and about and you don't want to get caught up in the conversation. When they say, tell me more, say, I'd love to do that. Got to run. I'll send you something. Here's my email address. Send me an email and, just remind me we met here today and I'll send it over. By the way, what's your email? And you look down, you look at, it's a technique. You look down at the paper, a pen in your hand, and you don't put your head up. They'll give you their email address, and now you got some kind of communication going on. That's it. You can't do that any other way. All of you have been caught up in a conversation where the other person probably isn't even listening to you.
And Joe,
you've taken away the curiosity. I just want to say one thing before you say this, Mark. I'll say it again. I've said this many, many times. Just because you're talking don't mean they're listening. So go ahead.
Yeah, because I know you're going to cover this, when we talk about the 5 parts of a conversation. Mm-hmm. But you know what? The other thing, too, it actually corresponds with the 5 parts of a sales. Mm-hmm. And that is attention, which you just talked about, interest, conviction, desire, and close. Mm-hmm. So there's 5 parts to a sale, and there's 5 parts to a conversation. And you've covered about 2.5 of them already. And the thing is, the question you asked got their attention. And then it creates the interest. And then and by the way you talk, again, terminology and perception has to make sense. They can hear the conviction in your voice if you do it right. And then you create the desire in them, and then you close them. Well, what you're closing is, that you're going to get some information to them. It's just like when you get to, getting that appointment and you're tying it down, which you're going to cover in a little bit. But on this part, you close them. What you're closing is getting them to want to let you get some information to them. That's what it's all about there. It's not about selling them there. It's about that particular thing you're trying to accomplish. So
that's create the curiosity. That's all you need to do. I don't go out recruiting. I recruit when I'm out. That's it. And it may, I'm not talking to everybody, the stock boy in the aisle or, the lady passing by. It just happened, got in within a few feet and a conversation started somehow. People all talk at the registers and things like that. So that's one thing. But Mark mentioned the steps to the conversation. You have to know this. And you have to be aware of where you are in the conversation. Now, we're only talking about one incident here, one facet of this, about meeting somebody outside. But I think it's critical to understand and learn that so you don't feel embarrassed and rejected. So you know what to do about it. But it's the 5 steps are the introduction, the reason I'm talking or contacting you, what I would like you to do, set an appointment and tie it down. Now, you learn what they are in the class, but that's what you have to know to have a conversation regardless of where you are. So let's take the next section. And that is, what if you had a market, and I believe everybody should have a marketing system. We use ToolsRock, period, end of story. That's what we do because we have the funnels we want. We have the contact manager, the follow-up system, the invitation letters, everything is there. And we created it, so we know what we're doing with it. So if you send people information and ask them to look at something, click on this website, you better know what to say when you call them back. You've got to know those 5 parts. You have to tell them why you called. It's easy if you send them something, they filled it out. They filled out. Now, you don't have to wait for them to fill out a capture page to call them. If you bought 100 leads, had 100 leads, whatever, you can call those people and let them know that you sent them something. Or they filled it out and you can say, hey, you filled out some information. I want to speak to you about managing a business from home with my company. That's all we're looking for at this stage is to find out, do we have an interested party? Interested in what? Interested in managing a business from home. Not interested in gold. Everybody's interested in gold. We know that. Managing a business from home. And they go, well, yeah. Well, you saw that information. So I want to let me ask you a couple of questions. The scale of 1 to 10, what is your interest level in learning more about it? Anyway, we'll cover that. But that's the steps to that. Remember, again, it's still the same thing. Those three other steps, which are, our company is under a major expansion. You always have to remember that. Why did I call? Because our company is under expansion and we're really looking for people who are honest, ambitious, and work well with others. Does that sound like you? Yeah, it does sound like me. Hold on for a second. I'm going to get somebody who can answer all your questions. Hold on. You go to the director. It's simple to do, but you have to learn these steps. You have to not just learn them. You have to perfect them. Your language has to be down pat so that you never stumble. No matter, then you get to the part where they're going to start asking you a bunch of questions. And you better know how to handle those questions. You have to know how to answer all the questions that come up. Again, they're handled in the class. You get an outline for them, and you start learning and studying them, things that make sense. The answer better make sense. Is this a pyramid? You better learn how to say that. Not go compare our company to the government or any other company and say, well, they're all pyramids. You can't do that. That doesn't work. Doesn't make any sense. That doesn't tell them the real answer. No, we're not a pyramid. We're a company that's big, legitimate, and can back up its claims. Been around for 4.5 years. The company's in the e-commerce field, much like Amazon. But what we're really looking for, John, is someone who's honest, ambitious, and work well with others. Does that sound like you? I don't want a discussion, Mark, with the pyramids and all that. I don't have any time for that, nor should anybody else. So we really need to pay attention to the dialogue, the communication that has to take place. We have to be the experts. We have to learn how to invite properly. We have to be phenomenal inviters. And that's what you learn in the class. That's what you learn through here, learning the questions and answers so that you can become an excellent inviter. Not somebody who tells the story, someone who invites people to the party. That's what you need to be. And that's what we teach. That it is the key to business, is a simple process to teach you how to invite. Now, there are elements, we just covered many of them, to that invitation. Knowing how to get out of the questions or out of the conversation when they're asked questions. Not to elaborate on what gold is all about, and our gold is different and our company's different. We're the only company that does this. We've been around, but other companies try and they don't. All that stuff doesn't make any difference. What makes a difference is you know who you are in your conversation. You're the inviter. You're the director in training. We've been teaching that terminology for 17, 18 years. Not a director, not a manager. You're a manager in training. You're a director in training all the time. To invite people to look at your message, to look at your company, to look at your opportunity, and you learn how to do that effectively. I'm going to let you close with this, Mark, but I just can't see how, honestly, I can't see how the average person who's not making what they want to make, not accomplishing what they want, can get through all this without taking that class. I don't understand, because I've watched it for 20-some years. If you don't know the answers to what we're talking about here today, my guess is during a conversation, you're going to mess up somewhere. And then you're going to listen to uplines and people in the business telling you, just keep doing it. You'll find that good person. They'll teach you to. We got a guy on the internet teaching you, the average Joe like me and you, to go out and find the big player. I got news for you. They're not following you. You call them, even if you got that big fish on the line, you're not reeling them in. They're going to negotiate with another person to get a better position or be with a better team. They're not going to do it. So stop, listening to these gurus out there. There's one guy in particular on the internet. That's what he's teaching. Oh, this big magical, everybody will come work with you, but because you're looking for the wrong person, go look for, the big fish, and you'll want. Look, it's not going to happen. What's going to change your career is this: learning how to communicate and connect effectively and how to become a good inviter. End of story. And I don't know how you're going to do that without somebody teaching you the way to do it. I don't know of anything else out there that is teaching the right language. I see many of good people out here, but I don't see the holding of the hand to teaching you, answering questions, your stance, who you are, and how you effectively invite people. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. People do tell you how to do it, but they don't teach you how to answer the questions to get the confidence in both of you as the inviter and the invitee. So with that, I'll let you close, Mark. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Joe. And again, you have to understand who you are and where you are in the process and the proper terminology. And, you know, we say it all the time, you know, that's what you learn in the class. A lot of people who have, hundreds of people that have gone through the class over the last 18 months have found out who they really are. They feel better. And then, but the other thing is you have to use what you learn in the class. And that conversation is whether you're on the phone or whether you're out in public. The same thing applies. It's just that you have to understand the terminology and it has to create the right perception. So know who you are. Ask yourself, who am I? Because when you think about it in this industry, most people make less than what they have auto ship, and we don't even have auto ship with Karatbars. We get to make our own decisions, what we want to do. But if you're going to make this business work and you're going to make it work properly, you have to understand the terminology perception. It has to make sense. You have to understand how to say, how to talk to people in the right manner. You have to understand how do you answer the questions properly, because you're going to get the questions. And understand that you're a director in training if you're not in the director role, but you want to learn both. And it's a proper way of doing that. It's a proper way of introducing that director, and it's a proper way of being a director. And the things that Joe and I have heard, I mean, it's, wow, it's crazy out there. But you can turn it around. You can turn the 97% that was put up there this morning in the chat box. We want to turn that 97%, and we want to build that 3%. And one of the first ways to get started on that is to get in the communication class and learn what to say and how to say it. And I promise you, your business will expand. So with that being said, peace and blessings to everyone. Go out and make it a great day. Let's go share this opportunity with everyone. And those of you that have an organization, you know, partners that you're working with and whatever, if they don't know about the Breakfast Club, let them know about it. Just tell them to come and listen to what we're talking about. You may find the one nugget, no pun intended, but you may find the one nugget that will turn your e-commerce business, Karatbars, around. And that's
hey, Mark, let me say one thing. Stephanie's asking me to send her some info. Stephanie, send me an email at thenewbreakfastclub@earthlink.net. thenewbreakfastclub@earthlink.net, and I will respond. In your body of your email, make sure you put your phone number, because it's better we have a conversation. Okay, instead of sending it back, because it's, you know, there's a process to get to the class, and it's available, as you can see on that notification today, anytime, you know, from 10 to 10. So just give me a call, send me an email, either that or send it to jpshoop@earthlink.net. It goes to the same place. So the New Breakfast Club at earthlink.net, the New Breakfast Club at earthlink.net. Send it to me and we'll get you the info.
Okay, everybody. Peace and blessings to you. Go out and make it a great day. We will see you back here next week on the Breakfast Club with some great information. Make it a great day, everybody.